I've spent over 5,000 hours across 3 years helping contractors profit more. And while it might not sound like much time, in that time, I've helped my clients get over 7 figures of extra profits. So I'm gonna condense everything I've learned in those last 3 years into one simple video so you can learn absolutely everything in much less than 3 years. I'm Marcos, I'm the CEO of Woop Environmental. Last year, I've helped my contracting and restaurant clients earn over $500,000 of extra profits. And we've also been nominated as the best of the springs for our industry. Number one is that efficiency matters, but it's not everything. This was an absolute game changer, so much so that we actually lost a few clients. So initially, we only focused on sustainability, hence the name, and what that ended up doing is bringing a huge efficiency boost. So by improving efficiency, they got more profit. And then we actually looked to only do efficiency, and that's when those customers hired us. They're like, yeah, we want you to improve our efficiency. And then we saw, hey, look, like we're cutting costs, but like we're really close to zero here. Like your business is too small for us to just focus on cutting costs. Let's add some revenue in. And add revenue we did. So that's one of the biggest lessons, is that if you focus too much on efficiency, you're actually missing out on revenue. So you can only cut costs down to zero. So let's say your expenses right now are $300,000 a year. You can only go down to zero. So you can get at most $300,000. But if you do get $300,000 extra dollars, where's that money going? You're not bringing in anything now because you can't service your clients. So really the best way to bring the most results is to add revenue. So cutting costs is great, but only to a certain point. Increasing revenue is really as far as you can take it. As long as you get the money, you get the money. You know what I mean? So we work on a pay-per-profit model. So our clients pay us based on the results we bring them. What ended up happening is we saw the opportunity. Hey, look, we need to go for way more than just cutting costs. If we get them more revenue, they're going to profit so much more. And they did. They did that. And their bill, and this happened to multiple clients, their bill went up by more than 10 times. Which means that their profits went up by double that. So their profits went up like crazy. And when they saw that bill, when their bill was like nothing crazy, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is more than I pay myself. You know what? I think you fixed all our issues. Our business is in a good spot. So we're good. If I remember correctly, the first client that this happened with, their bill was, I think, $400 in the first month, because it was actually, they were a new client. So it was $400 in the first month, and we're like, hey, look, like we need to focus on revenue with you. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. The first month was cost cutting, and then the next month we're like, all right, cool. Now we're on the revenue side of things. Their bill went from $400, if I remember correctly, to $6,000 from 1 month to the next. It's ridiculous. I mean, no wonder they're like, dude, you fixed my business now. I want to enjoy this revenue now. So that was an absolute game changer. And again, you can only go down to zero if you cut costs, but you can go infinitely up. So going down is limited, going up is not limited. So put some time into cutting costs, but put most of your focus into increasing revenue. So that's the first lesson. You can only go down to zero, but you can go up to an infinite number. So if you're gonna spend a lot of time on something, put it towards revenue. You can focus on cutting costs, but please put the majority of your efforts towards increasing revenue. Moving on to the next lesson, and that is that less is sometimes more, or at the very least, it's much easier. Look, if you're the cheapest business, you're the cheapest plumber, cleaner, whatever, in your area, you're gonna get a lot of clients. But here's the thing, you need to get a lot of clients in order to stay alive. So here's an example. We had 2 cleaning clients at one point at the same time. They both came in at the exact same time. So one client said, hey, look, I wanna be the cheapest one. I know how some people don't have time to clean their house, and then they don't have the money to pay someone to clean their house. You know, they're trying to grind away, they're trying to just get money to take care of their family, and they might not have the energy or time to clean. So I want to be able to help them out. Then our other client said, hey, we just cleaned the $8 million house, and that was the best experience we've ever had. I don't want to touch another low income client ever again. So we had 2 complete opposites. And here's the thing, if you're on either extreme, it's really easy to make it work. So the lower client, our job there is not, hey, how do we get new clients in? If you're cheap enough, they're just gonna come flocking to you. The thing is, we need to get them. So we need to do a really good job for a really low amount of money. So we play the efficiency game, right? We just cut costs all we can. And now to make the same amount of money, our low client has to work. Actually, the profits were not even close. We'll get into what we did with the other client, but he has to work so much to fill the calendar. Now, moving on to our other client, the one that wants to be high end. Well, what we did is said, hey, just increase your price by 3 times because they were already pretty expensive. But we said, hey, just triple your price and see what happens. Well, what happened is they lost all the low end clients and they only had those high end $1 million plus homes. And now they just get to work much less. They kept the crew the same size, but now they go, hey, look, we have 2 jobs a week and we profit. And they're like, well, we're not just going to do 2 jobs a week. We're going to do as many jobs as we can every single week. So now they're profiting a ridiculous amount and they don't have to work that much. They could just do 2 houses every week and they would be more than profitable. And the best part is now the owner is able to go on vacation, be able to see their family, be able to do things they wanted. So yes, less work equals more money there, but here's the thing, it is harder to get new customers. So if we look at example number A, the one that wants to be cheap, he doesn't have as hard of a time getting in new customers, but he has to get in a ton of new customers just to make ends meet. Whereas our other client is gonna have a much harder time getting in customers, but they don't need as many. And then that's kind of the thing, pick which one you're good at. Pick which one you want. If you're really good at marketing, you're really good at sales, be the most expensive one there is. No reason for you to not do that. And if you think that, hey, I'm not as good at marketing and sales, but I can work my ass off, then go ahead and be the cheapest one. Don't sit in the middle because then you need to be really efficient and you also need to be really good at sales and you don't benefit from either one. You don't get the advantage of being the cheapest, of just having an easy time getting clients, and you don't get the advantage of being the most expensive and just having infinite profits every single job. So choose one of those avenues and go for one of them. Okay, sticking with the pricing theme, here's the thing. Pricing is really simple, but people often make it really, really complex. Here's the thing with pricing. The best price for your business, and I'll tell you this right now, is the highest price that people will pay you, okay? If you can sell whatever you're doing at $1 million an hour, that's your best price. If people are paying that, that is your best price. So here's the thing, there is a balance of where to price. We want to figure out, and going kind of back to the previous example, usually the best price is going to be the one that allows you to have the most profit with the least client. There is a point where you have, hey, I have this amount of people that we service and this amount of profits with them. There is a point where it maximizes it, where the margins per customer and the amount of customers you have bring you the most net profits at the end of the month. So figure out where that point is. For example, I have 10 clients, each of them I make $10 profit on. So I have $100 worth of profits, right? Or I could have 3 clients, each one of those I make $50 of profit off of. Which one's better? The one with 3 clients, because in the end, I'm making $150 of profit off of 3 clients. But if I had 1 client making me $50 of profit, now that math doesn't math up, and doing the 10 for 10 is much better. So figure out, hey, where is that point? Where's that point where, hey, 3 clients at $50 of profit makes me $150 instead of 10 at 10, which makes me $100. So find that for your business. That is your best price, where you get the most amount of profits in the end, not how many clients you came in or how much you profit off of any one client in particular. Look at the end of the month. A lot of the times you have to zoom out a little bit instead of focusing on just one specific client. Look at the overall big picture. What makes more money in the end? Okay, moving on to the next lesson, and this one is about cost cutting. And it's subscriptions are not draining your bank account, driving on the clock is. So I'm not saying that you need to tell your employees to stop being on the clock while driving in between jobs. What I'm saying is that you need to find a way to reduce the amount of drive time that your business has. Not only does that amount to more fuel usage and more maintenance costs, but the biggest thing it has is you have to pay whoever's driving and whoever else is in that vehicle. So think about this, 1 hour driving, if you pay your employees $25 an hour and you have 3 employees in that car, that is $75 every hour that they're driving. So you need to figure out how to reduce drive time. And the way you do this is simple, but not easy to do. So you need to figure out how to optimize your routing. So the simple part is drive less time. The hard part is how do we actually implement that in a way that doesn't break the business? So here's some ways. The first thing you need to do, and this is by far the easiest and a no-brainer, is optimize the routing. If you can optimize the schedule so you're not driving from one end of town to the other And in between jobs, you're going back and forth, north side, south side, west side, east, like back and forth, north, south, north, south, north, south. Get rid of that, okay? Do all the jobs in the north first, then go to the south. What you can do is two things. Either tell people, hey, choose a day of the week and we'll serve you when, we'll let you know what hour we're gonna come at. Or you can do it the other way around where you say, choose an hour and we'll let you know what day of the week works. So you might think, hey, this is really restrictive, but some of the biggest businesses that we've worked with already had this implemented. And when we implemented it into other businesses, they saved a ton of money. So it's not that big of an issue. The only times it becomes an issue is if it's emergency jobs. But even then you can say, hey, we can squeeze you in on at the end of the day if you're in this area. Another thing that you can do is have different crews work different areas. So now if you do get an emergency job, you say, cool, I'll just assign it to this crew. There you go. So you can have crews that go to specific areas, but this makes it much easier. Structure your jobs in a way that reduces drive time, and it is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. You just need to make sure that, hey, the jobs are in the same relative area and you will save a lot of money on drive time. So tell your employees, hey, throw in the GPS and figure out what the fastest route is so you're not stuck in traffic or you're not getting lost somewhere and doing loops around an area that is not even where the job is. Moving on to the next one, and that is data. Data is the cheat code to business. The more data you have, the more you understand your business and the better decisions you can make. So when we first started out helping our clients and everything, we didn't collect as much data overall on the business. Again, we were just in sustainability. And we definitely didn't do the amount of data implementation, the amount of data tracking implementation that we do today. What difference has that made? A massive one. We spot issues way before they even happen, where I've been able to tell clients, hey, give this 2 to 3 years and we're gonna have a big issue. And they go, oh, okay, let's fix it. And their competitor that didn't fix it has a big issue on their hands 2 to 3 years after that. So this is something huge to do. We've had situations where I can sniff out an issue well before it happens. And because we have the data tracking, we can confirm that it's an issue well before it happens. So this is huge. Not only does it let you sniff out those issues like way in advance, it also lets you confirm them pretty far ahead. So now you have time to fix it and you know that what you did to fix it actually helped. If you're trying to improve something, you gotta track it. There's no way to know if you're losing weight or you're gaining weight, whatever it is. There's no way to know if you're losing weight if you're not checking if you're losing weight, right? So there's also no way to know if your business is growing if you're not checking to see if it's growing. There's no way to know if you're profiting more if you're not checking that. There's no way to know if you're converting more if you don't check it. So that's a huge thing. You need to have data, and the more data you have on your business, the better decisions you can make and the better moves you will make. So with good data, you can spot an issue in seconds that would usually take years to figure out. And it takes years because it will take maybe a year or two for it to kill your business. And then you go, oh, we're doing something wrong. All right, cool, that's good to know. Okay, here are the most important things to track, and these are non-negotiables. Obviously, revenue is like, why are you not tracking revenue if you're not? I think everybody watching this is already tracking revenue. And if you're not, and you are watching this, go track it right now. Like that is a super, that's an ego one. Like, come on, you gotta have the ego to track your own revenue. Like that's how you get self-esteem, right? So obviously with revenue, you also need to track expenses, and that's gonna give you your net profits. Now, another 3 things that are really important to track is your gross profits and your gross margin. This is what affects your net margins the most. A double in gross profits is way more than a double in net profits. So small improvements in the gross profits make massive improvements in net profits. So track your gross margins, track your gross profits, and make sure that you work on improving them. Another 2 data points that are really important to track is your cost to acquire a customer. This lets you know, hey, how much do we need to profit off each client, right? If you're making $100 off each client, but it costs you $150 to get that client, you're not profiting, no matter how much revenue you made off that client. So knowing your cost to acquire them tells you how much money you need to make on each job. Another really important one is the lifetime value. This lets you know, hey, how much do we get off a client? And really, if you can find the lifetime profits, the gross profits from a client, it's also really important. It lets you know, hey, in the end, how much money can we invest into a client? So it's important to know that. But yeah, if you're not tracking revenue, you're not tracking expenses, you're not tracking your gross and net profits, and then you're not tracking the cost to acquire a customer, you are doing something really wrong, and you're not gonna know when issues come up, and you're not gonna know how to fix them once they do come up completely. Okay, another one that I see, and this happens a lot to the people that do track that data really well, is that they like to keep their team way too small. They say, well, if I hire another person, I have more expenses here. If I hire in this, we're gonna get less efficient. We're gonna spend more, we're gonna do this. Again, like we said at the start of the video, efficiency is not everything. You can only cut costs from where they're at right now to zero, but you can increase revenue infinitely from where you are today. So here's the thing, a small team will keep your business small. If you want to improve how much revenue you can make, you might need to bring on more people. So once you nail your pricing, once you're like okay-ish efficiency wise, so like you're actually profiting on each client, right? Which, hey, you can do that by raising the price. So you don't even need to worry about efficiency right now. Efficiency matters when you're much bigger. So here's the thing, once you have pricing at a really good spot, hire more people. You're in contracting, okay? You can't have one person working 6 jobs within the same hour. It doesn't happen. And if you know somebody that does, please let me know, because that would make me a ton of money if I can figure out how to do that more people. So if you know someone that knows how to work 6 jobs at once, like physically, please give me a call. Our number is down in the description. So please just do that right now. But most likely you don't know someone that way. And here's the thing. Yes, a small team costs less money, but a big team makes more money. So figure out, hey, we're at the point that we need to scale your business. The best way to grow your business as a contractor is to add more capacity, okay? So please add more capacity. A small team costs less, but a small team makes less. So get a big team that, yeah, it will cost more, but it will make more. And if you're already profiting off the employees you have right now, it's really easy to profit off of future employees. So don't focus too much on keeping the team small, because that makes no difference. You're not in tech, you're not in software, you're not in an industry where you really can't just lay off 300 people and not break all that much. If you fire a lot of people and you try to make more with less people, it's ultimately not going to work out, because you get to a point where a person can't physically fix toilets in 6 houses at the same hour. And if you know somebody that can, again, like, call me now, stop the video and call me. But yeah, you don't know somebody like that. So seriously, in the world of contracting, don't do that. A smaller team means a smaller total revenue and a smaller business. So if somebody tells you, hey, you need to let go of people because you need to figure out how to make more revenue per employee, cool. End of the day, you're not going to make more revenue than you would if you just doubled your capacity, which you do by bringing in more people. Once you have a ton of money, then figure out, hey, okay, cool, now we can focus on cutting costs. But seriously, it makes no sense as a contractor to say, no, I don't want more electricians. No, I don't want more plumbers, because that keeps the cost high. Well, guess who brings in the revenue? The electricians, the plumbers, the HVAC techs. Those are the people bringing you money, the painters, all of that. So if you keep your team small, you're gonna keep your revenue small. So make sure that, hey, you're not limiting yourself for absolutely no reason. So obsessing over paying as little as possible in payroll and keeping the team as small as possible is just not a good idea. It does make some sense, but in a field of contracting where you actually need real humans out on the field, it's just never gonna be a good strategy. Okay, the next lesson, helping other people win will help you win much more than you can help yourself. Okay, this lesson here had people calling the stuff I do the Marco's magic. I'm not even joking. Somebody said that in a room of like 60 people. Somebody said, oh, here's the Marco's magic in effect. So here's the thing, I got really good at figuring out how I can make my clients and their vendors win at the same time. So we started negotiating for them. So here's the story of that. So I had 2 clients in the same industry at the same time. And I said, this is a really good time to negotiate. What if I go to their vendors or any vendor at all and tell them, hey, look, I'll bring you all of this client's business plus this other one if you can get me a good deal. Well, I walked out of there in 30 minutes and I had 33% off all purchases for my 2 clients. And on top of that, The vendor then agreed, hey, look, we're gonna do all this extra work for you, because it was a vendor that sold things that like clients need to choose, like decide which one they want. So they said, hey, we'll actually drive to every single job site and talk with your client's clients to figure out what they want to choose to put into their home. All I did was bring them two people. It was super easy. And like my clients are like, oh, cool. So now we pay 2/3 of what everybody else pays. Great. And we get better conversions because overall we're giving away a better service by having that extra, drive to their house and show them all the items that they can choose. So yeah, if you can figure out how to make the people around you win, you are going to win much bigger. So that is one of the biggest things. And if you want to bring that Marco's magic into your business, it's not magic. It's just help others win in a way that helps you win as well. Okay, this next lesson, I won't lie, it pisses me off. And it's something that I watched other people make the mistake. It wasn't necessarily any of my clients that made it, or actually I stopped a few of my clients from making it, but it was from watching what happens when other businesses do this. And it is nailing one thing is much better than being mediocre at 7, 8, 9, 10 different things. So I saw this happen all the time where a plumber, an HVAC company, something in that industry, and mind you, like with, 3 employees total, say, we're not making enough money, so I think we need to start a new division. And they go, we need to start an HVAC division. We need to start an electrical division. We need to start a plumbing division. What are you doing? Unless you have you're master plumber, master electrician, where you're like, yeah, you can do both, you are going into the hardest industries that you can get into. So this is like, unless you have 20, 30 crews that you can get all over town just to serve that one thing you started with, this is the dumbest move ever. You just add a ton of operational complexity for absolutely no payback. Now, here's the thing. You might be at a point where you're like, hey, look, we just need more jobs. Like we are getting 2 to 3 clients and then like, well, that's it. Like we don't have enough money. You're in pure survival mode. Here's the thing. If you add another division, you're going to be in survival mode because your problem is not how many things you offer. The problem is the thing you offer doesn't make you money. And you're going to be in survival mode twice as bad because now, hey, I have to take care of paying the guy that has the master plumber certification or the master electrician certification as well, right? Because you don't have it, right? And if you have it, you still have to pay all of the other division. Both divisions have their own set cost. So instead of focusing on, hey, how can I add another division? Focus, how can I make this division work in a way that doesn't have me thinking, hey, I need to find another thing to sell just to make money. So if you feel like you're always in survival mode, the fix is not adding a new division. The problem is not that you don't offer enough services. The problem is the ones you do offer are not making you enough money. So here's another thing. Painting, I see it happen all the time. They go, hey, winter, we do Christmas lights. And honestly, this is not as big of an issue because it's not as complex. But here's the thing. Painting, yes, it's good to keep the guys busy, but you need to make enough money in the summer so that winter you're not in survival mode and you're doing the lights just so you can keep the guys busy and you have some amount of revenue rolling in. But if you're doing it because, we're shutting down the business if we don't have another division, then no, come on. Plumbing and electrical are not the same thing, so you do need completely new people. If you're doing Christmas lights, that's different. It's the same people doing a slightly different job because, hey, like you can't paint, it's too cold. So that's something big. So that's the thing. Nail whatever it is that you do first before you think of adding a brand new division, adding a brand new type of service, please, okay? It's like if we say, hey, we help you profit more, and then tomorrow we say, hey, look, you know what we're gonna start doing? We're gonna do graphic design. Like what? Okay, cool. Now we have to hire a graphic designer because like to hire somebody to do sales, we have to hire, it doesn't make sense for us to start a completely different thing. So yes, could we make a little extra money on the clients that need graphic design? Cool. But I have to pay a graphic designer now to do that. And if I don't get them graphic design jobs, now I'm double screwed. So that's the thing, is please nail the thing you do before you say, hey, let's add a bunch of other services to our business, because they make your business much less efficient, much more difficult to run, and a bigger risk overall. And since you already have an issue, you clearly already have an issue, you're just gonna add another bigger issue. Okay, now I can calm down from that previous one and go into basically saying a very similar thing, but in a different way. And it's that a simpler business is a better business. The less pieces you have that can break, the better off you're gonna be in running the business. So you don't need to overcomplicate things. Make it simple. You just need to worry about getting customers and servicing them for less than they pay you. That is fundamentally what your business needs to be about. So the simpler you can keep it, the better. Keep things replicable. Make it easy to keep your business growing. Don't add fluff to your business. Imagine you're building a house and you say, you know what, we're gonna have 4 different ventilation systems. And now there's a problem with the ventilation of that house. Good luck. Now you got to look through 4 different systems just to figure out where the issue is. Whereas if you did just one system, now obviously like you're an HVAC tech and you know exactly how to build a house. Like this is a very generalized example, okay? I'm not an HVAC tech. I just help businesses in HVAC, okay? But let's say you build a house out, you have 4 systems in one system in another house. Which one is easier to find an issue in? Probably the house that only has one ventilation system. Same thing with the business. Don't add a bunch of fluff. If it's not necessary, don't add it. Just make it easy for you to run your business. And you do that by keeping it simple. Don't add fluff. Just keep it nice and simple. Keep it easy to oversee and easy to fix any issues that you might come across. A good contracting business is one that sells its services for more than it costs them. And an even better one is one that sells them for even more money. So focus on that and you'll have a good business. All right, so those are some of the lessons that I've learned that are the most impactful over the 5,000 hours that I've spent helping contractors profit more. If you want a way to profit more, you want a way to nail your pricing, nail your conversions, I do have a free thing to offer you since you made it to the end of the video. This is a tool that helped one of our clients go from 6 to 7 figures in 2025, and it takes as little as 2 minutes per job to do. It is our 7 figures in 70 seconds estimate template, and it includes a calculator that will shoot you out the best price right away from the job site and tells you how to make estimates that convert really well. It's completely free for you. You can get it with the link right here. It'll also be down in the description, and it is the best tool we've ever made. And because it's so easy to share with others, we're sharing it with you since you made it to the end of the video. So thank you for watching. If you did like, go do whatever you want. If you want to subscribe, cool. If you don't, but at least have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.